Shalom, shalom, everyone. This is Ayana, and this is the YHUHderek channel. Today we'll be going over understanding Genesis chapter 1, verses 14 through 19. Good morning, good evening, and good night, depending on where you are on earth. This is a continuation of a series that was begun 2 years ago. As you all know, I have been gravely ill. A lot has happened between then and now, and we're just going to finish up this series. But first, as always, I would like to thank you all for your support. And to let you know that your donations help keep this channel, YHUHderek, going. I'd like to thank Jay Louisant for donating. And always, we would encourage you to please donate if you find this channel engaging and you learn something, to please support the channel. We have two avenues to do that. The first one is PayPal, as you can see here on the lower right hand corner. PayPal, that's YHUHderek@mail.com. And then also CashApp, which is $YHUHderek. In addition, we do have a digital download page at Shoptly. That should be shoptly.com/YHUHderek. You can get the calendar there, and we will soon be uploading other digital materials. In addition to that, as you know, we are selling the YHUHderek video library. These are what the flash drives look like. The price is $95. There are 74 videos from the beginning of this channel up until just recently, 74 videos for $95, which is about $1.28 per video, which is cheaper than renting a movie online. And these payments can be made through the same avenues of PayPal and CashApp. When you do make your payment, you in the notes or in the message box, you want to put the address to where you want the flash drive to be mailed to. And for anyone who's interested outside of the United States, there will be additional postage, and I can make arrangements with you at that time. All right. Now, please go back, because I know it has been quite a while. We have previous versions. At the beginning of this series a couple years ago, we got all the way to verse 13. And please, to refresh your mind, to go through. We're doing an in-depth analysis of Genesis or Bereshith chapter 1. And please look at those previous editions. In addition to this video, which is going through verses 14 through 19. I did go over 14 through 19 in the Examining the Moon Part 4 series. And here's a screen grab from that. We talked about how many times it's repeated and things like that, and what Mu'aid, or as people know, Moad, is. It's not a feast, it's just a set appointed time. All right. So we'll start with verse 14. And Yahweh said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night. And let there be." All right. So we have Amar said. Now I have Yahweh. The word in scripture is Alayam, or as people know it as Elohim. But Elohim is plural, which is the definition here. Just in case you forgot, all of these are the definitions beneath the YHUHderek words. This is the traditional understanding of those words according to what's written in your scripture, the King James Version. And these are the YHUHderek words. The numbers with the H in front of it are for Strong's Hebrew numbers, so you can follow along with Strong's Concordance, just as a refresher, because it has been a while. So, Amar said, Alayam, it means deities that an oath was given to, but Yahuwah is only one, so I put Yahuwah above it instead. But the KJV version has God over it instead, and we all know that that's a deity. If you do not know, please look at the video Preferences of Scripture, and that'll let you know. Okay, let there be, right? To exist, that's Yah. To be, to exist. It's also, if you look at Yahweh's name here, you know, Yah or Yod-Hey. So Yahweh's name is in here. Ma'areth, lights. Barak Yah, firmament. Ha-Shamayim or Ha-Shamayim, as some people say, the heavens. To divide from the day, Ha-Ya'um, from the night, Ha-Layala, and let there be again. Oops, sorry. For signs and for seasons and for days and for years. So for signs, Ath, as you know, if you look into the introduction to Genesis chapter 1, I talk about Ath because it is in scripture so much. It's an innumerable amount of times. Ath just means a sign, a memorial, or a monument. All right, so signs, and then seasons. So I kind of wanted to talk about seasons. This is the word, as you know, moed, but it's mu'aid, mem, u, ayin, or a, and then deleth. Seasons, I know most people understand mu'aid as to be feast only, but it is not. Feast, H4151, it means a set time, a point in the space of time. And then the root word for that is aid, which is H3259, to point out and to define. Okay, so mu'aid, as it should be pronounced, but moed with nakud or vowel pointing is a set time. It can be any set time. It's not exclusive to Yahuwah's feast. It can be any set time. All right, so and then days, yam, and years, shun yam. All right, a year, the original meaning to shana is to repeat and to repeat or to do it the second time. So now we have the two different translations. Here's the traditional one. And Yahuwah said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and to let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. The exhaustive translation, and Yahuwah said, let there be lights, and Yahuwah said, let there exist lighted lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide between the day and between the night, and let them exist for signals or beacons, and for set times, and for days and years. All right. So why did I say lighted lights? Because there's a difference between Aur, which is light that comes from everywhere. It's the origin of light, and Ma'or, which means from being lighted. So there is the original light. When Yahuwah says he's the light comes from him. Um, if you go to Genesis chapter 1, verse, I think 2 or 3, Yahuwah says, let there be light. That's Aor. That's the original light. All right. And then the sun and the moon is Maor or Maor, and that is from being lighted. Next verse. And let there be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. So Yahuwah is commanding that there be lights. So let's talk about, you can look over these words in Strong's. It starts with the original word, and then I always break it down to its root word, which is usually a 2-letter root. Sometimes in Strong's, because Strong's refers to roots being a 3-letter root, but originally Yahudith, it is a 2-letter root. Okay, so I won't go over all this because a lot of this is repeating, like, and it was, um, lights, Ma'ur, we just talked about that, the firmament, Barakyae, heaven, light again. So let's talk about the earth, which is Ha Arts. Ha, which means the, Alp, Rosh, Zad, or Sadi, as some people say. So we talked about this in verse 2, 1 or 2. Yeah, verse 1 in this chapter. If you go back, please refresh. Ha'arts means the earth. H776 means the earth. But the root word to arts is ras, resh sad, or rash sadi, right? Rats, and it means to run. So the earth, when you say arts, it means a place of running. So you have the sea or the seas and the place of running. Now, if you watch the video, what is it? Changing your speech. We talked about how we call them oceans today, but ocean is actually a deity. So in scripture, it says seas, which is mayam or yam. That is the original word, and seas would be more appropriate. But again, the earth is arts, and the root word to arts is rats, and that means to run. So the traditional translations, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and it was so. The exhaustive, let the lighted lights exist in the firmament in the heavens to give light over the earth, and it was established. Again, Ma'ur, right here, Mem al Alp U Rash. Ma'or is lighted lights, from being lit to be bright from every direction. All right, next verse 16. And Yahuwah made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day. And then on the next page, it'll have the rest of the verse. So most of these are the same. So you can take a look at all of these Strong's numbers, again, beginning with the original word. If there's a second number, that is the root word. So 2 means the second time again, but Shana, which is the same as year, means to repeat. All right. Great lights, the root word is Gadol. This is Ha Gadolium. This is the Gam Dal Lam, or the Gamal Dalet Lamed, without the could. It means of great magnitude and extent. So it doesn't mean big as in size. It means big as in intensity, right? So let's go down to our special word in this verse, and that's the word rule, which the word is mashal. All right, so H4475, having dominion, to rule, root word, shal or shala. H4910, to make like or to assimilate. In the continuation, the lesser light, to rule the night and the stars. All right. So the lesser light is to be little, to be small, or to cut off. We just went over mashal, the night, layal, right? The root word to layal is lul, lamed, lamed, or lam, to wind down, right? Now, the traditional interpretation, and Yahuwah made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and a lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. The exhaustive, and Yahuwah made the chief signs. Remember the word Ath. This is Uath, but Ath is the root word. And Yahuwah made chief signs of the great lighted lights. The chief sign of the brighter lighted light to dominate the day, and the chief sign of the duller lighted light to dominate the night, and the chief signs of the stars. So let's talk about Ath, right? Because it says here, Ath, a signal or a beacon. We did go over this in previous versions. Please look at a version, the verses 1 and 2, and then 3 and 5. I get really in depth about this. And also the prelude to it all, the introduction, where I talk about Ath by itself. Uh, every time, well, not every time, but in the case of Genesis or Bereshith, when you see Ath, it is a sign of something. Okay. It's a sign, it's a standard for a permanent thing. Okay. So when Yahuwah made these lights, they're permanent. Right? It's a signal. So when you see the sun out, it's a signal that it's day. When you see the moon out, it's a signal that it's night. Next verse, 17. And Yahuwah set them in a firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. There isn't anything really new except for we'll go over the word firmament, which is rakwaye, right? Rosh, Koop, Yah, A, or Resh, Kuf, Yod, In. Ba just means the ba, or the in front just means in the firmament. All right, H7549, to overlay. H7554, to spread out by beating. H7534, which is the root, which is rock reshkuf, to be thin and to restrict. So in these definitions, you get an understanding of what the firmament is, which is obviously to overlay the earth. Yahuwah, in scripture, I can't remember the actual scripture chapter and verse right now, but he says that the firmament is stretched out like a tent, right? The sky is stretched out tight as a tent over the earth. And that's the second definition, to spread out by beating. And then the firmament does restrict us. We cannot go outside of the firmament. It is very thin. If you go to the previous versions where I get into the firmament, I talk about how it is clear, it's reflective because it's made out of water. And if you've ever seen like a body of still water without any ripples or rapids or anything, it actually reflects its surroundings. You can look in water like a mirror, still water, and it reflects the color, it reflects the shapes. If you've ever seen any scenic type of thing where it shows like mountains and there's water and you can actually see the water reflect the mountains, that's the firmament, except for it's very hard. It's a hard surface. It's very thin, and it is restrictive. You can't get past it. So the traditional translation, and Yahuwah set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, exhaustive, and Yahuwah placed the chief signs in the firmament of the heavens for light over the earth. 18. And to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide from the light and between the darkness. And Yahuwah saw that it was good. Okay, so to rule, we talked about that. Day, night, we talked about that. Divide, from. So it's a small word, bayan. The root word is bana, right? But beyond H99596, between and within, and then the root word bon, H1129, to build in equal parts. So, to divide it into equal parts, the light from the darkness. Now, if you watched the calendar series, Yahweh's calendar, and the Gregorian, and explained Yahweh's calendar, we talk a lot about the division of night and day, which a lot of people know as the equinox, which is not the correct term and is not the correct day. But the emphasis here is that to build in equal parts is the root word from. So equal amounts of day and equal amounts of night is when we determine the beginning of the year. And then I don't see anything different except for the word for good is tube. And that's H2896, which is good, upright, and pleasant. So Yahuwah was satisfied with it. He saw that it was pleasant. He saw that it was good, and it was upright like his word. All right, the translations: traditional, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And Yahuwah saw it was good. Exhaustive, and have dominion in the day and in the night, and to separate between the light and between the darkness. And Yahuwah perceived it to be good. Just a little bit more detail, but that's what it is. All right, verse 19, and evening and morning were the fourth day. Now, I do want to say that these two words existing, uyaya and existing, this is not in the interpretation of the traditional. This is left out each and every time for each and every day except for the Shabbat. It says this, it just says in evening and morning was whatever day it is. But existing is important because it's talking about that specific day. And the reason why that's significant is because you have people who are saying that the daytime begins at night. And this definitely distinguishes that Yahuwah is saying the day that exists. All right, that particular day and that evening of the fourth day and that existing morning of the same day was the fourth day. Not starting at night and going into the next day. Remember, every day that we have there are no other days. So if you're in that day, the day before is gone and the day to come has not come yet. So you are strictly in that day from morning to evening. And we established that also, that from morning to evening consists of a day, not from night until the next night, a 24-hour period. Day is a 12-hour period depending on what time of year and where you are on the earth. But a day is approximately 12 hours from sunrise to evening. It's 12 hours and not a 24-hour period. So the word morning is bakwar. A lot of people say boker with nakud or vowel pointing, but it's bakwar, bath, koop, rash. H1239, to open, to look at. So the opening of the day is when it's light outside. To look at is when you see the sun. You're able to see and distinguish everything, as opposed to night, where things are dark and you actually need lights to help you see. And then the root word to that is quar, and that's H1242, daybreak or dawn. So that is morning. The traditional interpretation and evening and the morning were the fourth day. Exhaustive and existing evening and existing morning was day 4. All right, so here is the complete verses from 14 to 19. On the left-hand side, you have the traditional, which you can all read in your scripture books. And then on the right-hand side is the exhaustive, which interprets every word, translates every word, and it doesn't leave any words out, including the ath. It doesn't leave anything out, and it goes into more detail. You can take time to look at that. You can stop the video and read it and compare. All right, so thank you. This is the end of the video. Here are the credits that was used. As always, YHUH is first. And then we have these different scripture books and concordances. So thank you so much. I appreciate you watching the video, and we'll see you next time. Shalom.